Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Doug's vlog, and we started the week off with an incline bench. Now granted, it's at a 30-degree incline, so it's not a real sharp angle, and it's mainly because for Doug I want to work his pecs a little bit more. They're kind of a weak link on his bench. I know people are like, a weak link, the guy benches double his body weight. Yeah, but he still wants to get stronger. We want to get to like 2.2 times body weight, 2.1 times body weight. But that was a 330 incline bench with a pause. So I'm real happy with that because that's a PR for him. So it's looking real good going into his next meet. Now he competes in the 181, but he weighs less than that generally. So our goal for this next meet, I'd like to see him bench at least 365, right? At least 365. And I think that's reasonable. So for supplemental work, we did pause benching. We do pause incline benching. Again, we double down on the chest work because that's really what he needs right now. So I end up doing 3 sets of each on his max effort day. And yes, I understand this is a fair amount of pressing volume, okay? Especially because we do JM presses in here afterwards. You know, another 3 sets, it's a lot of pressing volume. But Doug seems to handle it pretty well. He handles the pressing volume well, in spite of the fact that his bench strength is very, very good. His bench is his best lift. We're sitting right at normally about a 355 with a pause, which is around double his body weight. So, in spite of that, he recovers well to a lot of bench volume. And occasionally we may need to back down a little bit, and that's okay. But the first thing I would cut for him these days would actually be the JM presses if we cut something, simply because his triceps are not his weak link, right? He's got plenty of arm, and I don't think his triceps need to grow for our bench to go up a little bit, but it's always helpful. It's never a bad thing to have more tricep. For other supplemental work on this day, we do one-arm dumbbell rows. I may take him back to some standing type rows eventually, but we've had a little bit of issues in the past with work capacity with his low back, so I worry about that, but we also have him on the reverse hyper all the time, so it may not be an issue. Now he does these, and I just let him do them. Have him doing a little bit of lateral work just to keep his delts big, and sometimes he uses dumbbells and other stuff, but he has this machine. He's like, I feel like I need to use it for something to justify keeping it and taking up space. So, I let him do it for laterals, and I'm fine with that. Why? Because tension is tension, especially when we're dealing with single joint exercises. I think people get, what's the word that I'm looking for? I think they over obsess about one single joint exercise being better than another. They're small single joint exercises, okay? Come on. It doesn't matter. Just get a pump. Just get a pump on them. Finish off a muscle that needs to work and get out of there. I don't care if you use a machine, a dumbbell, a cable, whatever. It's just when people, the only time I would complain about machines on that is when people say things like, well, I think this machine is better. No, it's just, your machine is never better for a single joint movement than a dumbbell. It's just not. Particularly upper body, and some of the lower body machines are actually less effective. Not all of them, some of them are phenomenal. All right, max effort lower though. We did a pause deadlift, and I believe he did 425 for a 2 count below the knee, because that's what we do on the pause. We come up to just below the knee, we pause it, and then re-accelerate it. And it's going to be less than your normal deadlift. All right, afterwards I have him doing Romanian deadlifts because they're more specific to his needs, because his squat and his deadlift tend to be so close together. I'm not quite as worried about, for him specifically, doing good mornings, okay? Not as worried about it. And again, we get better carryover, I think, for Doug a lot of times out of the RDL, but we don't leave it in all the time. I can replace that. In other words, I could pull that out and replace it with a good morning variation again at any time, but I just want a phase of doing that for him. Then, of course, we finish up with reverse hypers and pull-ups on this day. Then we get over into dynamic effort upper day. Unless we have more footage here, I'll see. I'm still watching this scroll through. But we'll go ahead and talk about dynamic effort upper either way. So, DE upper, yeah, we have the split squats. So dynamic effort upper, we do speed bench. We do for him, again, 3 sets wide, 3 sets medium, 3 sets close. For compensatory acceleration, because we don't have a good setup for him just for bands and chains and things, we just run straight weight, and that comes up a lot. People will ask me on that, well, can you use just straight weight? Of course you can. I think it's better if you have bands and chains. I think it's better, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. It's not like you can't benefit from this. All right, since we already do flat work for that, anytime I add an auxiliary press for dynamic effort, I tend to not want to do anything flat with a barbell because we've already done it for a fair amount of volume with the speed work. So I will pick another lift based upon that lifter's weak links if they need a secondary press. If it's triceps, we may go straight to a JM press. But for Doug, we need more chest. So I'm having him do this. Now, I would also consider dumbbells here, but he doesn't have heavy enough dumbbells. Doug just doesn't have heavy enough dumbbells, right? So it's not really an option for this slot, but I could just as easily put that there in a fully equipped gym or in a commercial gym with big dumbbells. Then we do JM presses, one-arm dumbbell rows, band press downs, lateral raises. Again, I have a lot of volume for him. Again, I could cut it down if I needed to, but we have a lot of volume for his upper body. All right, there's the dumbbell rows. And then when we get over into dynamic effort lower here in a minute, we had an issue. I don't want to put the speed squats up because he accidentally recorded it in slow motion and it looks really slow, and that doesn't look good calling it a speed squat. But that's okay. The vlog doesn't need to run that long anyways. So we finished up there, and then for that, I didn't put the footage in, but he did box squats with a safety squat bar. We do conventional speed pulls. Doug does not pull sumo anymore. Again, we have some injury history with that movement. He's not always suited for it, so we don't do it. All right, and then we do the same stuff: Romanian deadlifts, split squats, reverse hyperextensions, pull-ups, which you'll see the pull-ups coming up here at the end. Just, to give us enough footage. And keep in mind, Doug is a beast on pull-ups. He can crank out about 20 pull-ups with body weight. So now we've started having him, he just puts a dumbbell between his knees and holds it there, and we still get something like sets of 10 on pull-ups, even weighted. And I think in the past, a long time ago, I showed him do, I think, a 5-rep set well over a year ago on my various social media with 245-pound plates on pull-ups. So he's strong at these. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.